Hey everyone, this is Amanda Wydula with the Bank of North Dakota, and thanks for joining us on another live rendition of Ask Stacy and Amanda. We are live every single Tuesday, most of the time at 2:30, give or take. Just remember to go ahead and give us a like, turn on those live notifications so you know every single time we go live to stay most up to date with everything that's happening here at the Bank of North Dakota. Remember, if you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment below and we will get back to you. If you ask it during the live or if you ask it later, we'll get you in a comment later. So today we are switching it up a little bit. We talk a lot about going to college from a high school student's perspective. So what you can do to prepare and how to be successful. But today, going to college right after high school isn't exactly the best path, or isn't right for everyone right after high school. So today we have Zane Ossie, who took a little bit of a different path to get to college. So thanks for joining us today, Zane. We really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk a little bit about high school. What was your high school experience like? What kinds of classes did you take? What were your plans for afterwards?
I guess it was kind of the typical experience. I grew up in Tappan, and I went to Tappan High School until I was about a sophomore. Then I moved to Steele, went there. However, I didn't finish high school. I had dropped out, and I took a different route. I went to Job Corps, where I got my GED and learned how to weld. And I guess really like I said, I didn't do anything outside the norm that really prepared me for my future. Other than, when I look back at it now, I took a design and drafting class, and that got me interested in AutoCAD and pretty much the construction trades. So
that was something that kind of sparked your interest,
from
definitely. Way back, and it's kind of carried through the rest of your life.
Definitely,
okay.
Yeah.
So after high school, you said you went to Job Corps, you learned how to weld, which is great. Boyfriend's a welder, so yay welding. And then what about after that?
Well, randomly, we had a National Guard recruiter show up while I was at Job Corps, and it was a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in years. And he kind of, he kind of laid down what they had to offer, and instead of going National Guard, I decided I wanted to go active Army, where I was at for about 4.5 years, where I was a mechanic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So fast forward, I get out of the service and I go back to welding. I worked at Bobcat here in Bismarck for quite a few years as a welder there. And as most of you guys might know, Bobcat closed down there for, 2-3 years, something like that. And it was time to find something different. And I went to the oil field, like a lot of us did.
Yeah. I mean, in, 2000, I don't know, what was it, 10, 11, 12? Yeah. I mean, oil country was booming. That was, if you want a job, you wanted to make money, that's just where you went.
For sure. And that's where I found myself. Where I was there for, 4.5, 5 years, give or take. Where unfortunately I ended up getting injured. So it was time to kind of change directions again. And that's when I decided to go to school. And it was kind of a tough choice, not knowing if you could really do it. Like, am I going to be able to do it at my age?
Yep.
I don't want to be the weird one. I'm old. By the way, I am almost always the oldest person in my class, which I'm okay with. Yeah. It's
so this is going to be kind of an off-topic question, but do some of the younger kids, like those, well, and I say the younger kids, they're adults, but the 18, 19-year-olds, do they kind of like look up to you as a mentor because you've experienced life?
I don't know about that. Maybe, I guess. I've never asked them. They do ask me a lot of questions, though. However, I ask them a lot of questions, too. It's a learning experience for all of us. We learn a lot. I like to think we learn a lot from each other. And they're all really helpful. At first, I thought they were, going to kind of look down on me because I was the older person in the class, and then I realized I really didn't care if they did or not. So that was kind of an upside. But overall, yeah, they've all been great, and I was a little surprised by that.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, good for the students at Bismarck State for being kind to this wonderful person. So thanks, guys. So you said that you're at BSC. So
Yep.
what are you studying, and what does like an average day for student Zane look like?
Well, I'm currently studying in the engineering technology program there at BSC. The average day, wow. Well, from semester to semester, thankfully it's varied. First semester was tough. It was getting back into things that I hadn't done in years. Who would have thought I would have learned so much in an intro to computers class? But it was immensely helpful. Same with English. And math. You would be surprised the amount of math that you forget that you don't use on a daily basis. But as it's progressed, it went from 10 hours a day of studying to get caught back up to now I average 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
So manageable. And don't get me wrong, some days are more difficult than others. Some projects are larger than others are. But yeah, it's completely reasonable. Surprisingly, I'm in my last semester right now. I should graduate in May. However, the last semester is kind of a tricky one because most of your classes are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay, sure.
So it's nice. However, it's from 9 o'clock to at least 1, depending on if you have to squeeze in some extra classes. And yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you're allowed to have enough time to get your work done, so it's completely manageable. I was surprised. I didn't think it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we were talking a little bit before this live about his experience, and a lot of times you hear students who are working adults taking online classes, and you take barely any.
I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's opportunity for almost. Well, I would say at least half of my classes I could take online. I just prefer the classroom setting. However, the online classes are great too. They're easy to get through. They do take a little bit more time, but it's doable.
Yeah.
Most
And
definitely.
I think the important thing is that you recognize that you have a learning style that lends better to the traditional seated classroom, where you can talk to your peers about the class and ask the professor questions, where some students just do better by doing it online, which there's nothing right away about each one, but it's really nice that there are those options available.
For sure.
So and you're graduating this May.
I am.
So what is the next step after that? Are you thinking?
I would have to say the immediate step would be to find a job. I'm really hoping to find something in the surveying field. However, I'm open for whatever options might come my way. I'm not going to be closed-minded to it. Be it drafting, be it work in the GIS field. But it's open to opportunities that weren't there for me before. And I'm very grateful for the chance that I've gotten to do this. It's been amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the program that you're doing really opens up a lot of doors in a variety of areas too.
Oh, most definitely. It's you kind of dabble in 5 or 6 different career paths, but with each one of those career paths, there's specialties that you can go into in those career paths. I don't know exactly which option I want to go with, but like I said, I'm open for all the opportunities that come my way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff,
Most definitely.
Zane. All right. So, parting words. Any other students who are maybe, you know, in the same boat that you were in once upon a time? Maybe you got injured after working, you know, a hard job. You know, who knows? There's a lot of different people with a lot of situations out there. So, any wisdom that you can
Oh man.
give to our viewers?
I was, you know, I was really fortunate. I had an amazing wife to help support me through this as far as emotional support and, you know, back there behind me, rooting for me the whole way. But you know, it was surprising. You just push yourself and you can do it. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, it's not nearly as difficult as you think it is. That was probably one of my biggest blocks for a long time. Is like, oh, geez, I don't know if I can do this college business. But I surprised myself, and I'm pretty sure you will too.
Yeah. So just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, thanks, Zane. We really appreciate you stopping
For
by.
sure.
I think there's a lot of people out there who will watch this and be like, he did it. I can probably too. So, all right. So, like I said earlier, we talk a lot about, you know, preparing and being successful from the high school perspective, but we don't talk about experiences like Zane's too often. So being able to highlight, you know, a story like this is really cool. Thanks everyone for joining us today. If you want Stacy and I to do more videos on topics like this, about career, about anything that we haven't covered, make sure you give us a thumbs up, just to make sure that we know that you like this video and you want to hear more of it. And if you have a suggestion for a video in the future, leave a comment below so we know what you want to see. So thanks everyone, and we will see you next week at 2:30. Bye!